so Adom TV no na inflation May 2023 mu de no ekoso 42.2% o de etoto April de no ho bra na 41.2% no na wo mo esusu ese de ema no ekoso no Ghana Statistical Service mpanufo enuane ebo no famu de ko 48.7 April busome no emu no na 51.8% and I made the no say and a koye the namso ama akosro no Adom TV Kasee etwaso.
Social protection 53.4% and food and non-alcoholic beverages 51.8%. All four divisions recorded rate of inflation higher than the national rate of inflation. On a month-on-month basis, keeping in mind that the national month-on-month rate of inflation was 4.8 for the month of May 2023, we again identified 5 divisions that recorded rates of inflation higher than the national average. This was led by personal care, social protection, and miscellaneous items that recorded the highest divisional month-on-month inflation of 7.0%. We turn away from the levels of inflation and from the 13 divisions point of view, identify the divisions that are contributing the most to the rate of inflation that was recorded for the month of May 2023. Across the 13 divisions, top 3 items, namely food and non-alcoholic beverages, housing, water, electricity and gas, and transport, almost contributed 3/4 to the overall inflation, with food and non-alcoholic beverages contributing more than 50% to the rate of inflation that was recorded in May 2023. Specifically, food and non-alcoholic beverages contributed 52.4% to the overall inflation recorded in the month of May 2023. This was distantly followed by housing, water, electricity and gas that contributed 13.1%, and closely followed by transport contributing 9.2% to the overall inflation that was recorded in the month of May 2023. The division that contributed the lowest to inflation in May 2023 was insurance and financial services that contributed 0.1 to the overall inflation for May 2023. We turn to the food inflation, given its dominance in terms of its contribution to the overall inflation. It will be recalled that food inflation contributes, the weight of food inflation is 43.7% to the overall rate of inflation. So we look at the trends in the levels of rate of inflation and the share of food inflation to the overall inflation. Since January 2022, it peaked in January 2023 with a rate of inflation of 61.0%. This is more than 3 times the rate of food inflation which was recorded in January 2022. In January 2022, food inflation stood at 13.7%, and the peak was 61.0% for January 2023. Since January 2023 to April 2023, we saw a continuous slowdown in food inflation, decreasing through 59.1%, 50.0% to 48.7%, which was recorded for April 2023. The decline in food inflation was reversed in May 2023 with an upward increase up to 51.8% for food inflation for May 2023. In terms of the contribution, the share of food inflation to overall inflation, we have recorded the highest contribution in the last 17 months, that is from January 2022 to May 2023. In January 2022, the contribution of food inflation to overall inflation was 43.4%. It increased up to half in terms of its share to 50.5% in May, stayed around that until April 2023, which we again recorded 50.9%, but we see its contribution in May 2023 inching up by 2.0 percentage points from 50.9 in May 2023 to 52.9 in May 2023, leading to it being the highest contribution of food inflation in the last 17 months.